Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode, this live Habs postgame show here on Langer at the Mic Live. And oh man, today's loss, the Canadians lost 2-1 in Game 3 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this loss was like definitely the most frustrating loss of the 3 games so far. I mean, of the 2 losses for sure, because the Montreal Canadiens had an okay first period, pretty evenly matched. But then they just are awful in the second period. They're basically played the second period as if they had 6 goalies on the ice, when really one of them, this guy, is just out of this world. And like, we don't deserve him. We don't deserve Carey Price, because the Canadiens just got completely outclassed once again in the second period against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which I've been saying about the first 2 games, and I've been saying that about the entire season series. Like, the Habs have been good in the second period against the other 6 teams in the North Division, or the other 5 teams in the North Division, but against the Toronto Maple Leafs, there in the second period, the Habs just can't figure it out. I don't know if it's the long change. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just the Leafs start turning it on in the second period more than the first and then the third, or adjustments. But the Habs just were awful in that second period. They got outshot 20-8 after getting outshot 20-6 in Game 2. Tonight they got outshot 20-8 by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second period. And if it wasn't for Carey Price, who, by the way, in the first period, robbed Jason Spezza, like absolutely robbed him. He had a wide open net after taking a beautiful pass from William Nylander, and Price just completely robbed him. And then he robbed Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner. He robbed Pierre Engvall on a rebound in the second period. He just, like, there's a couple of, like, I don't understand how this game, look at me. I can't believe this game wasn't 5-1 through 2 periods. It very well could have been 5-1 Leafs. And Matt Cowan, you playing Carey Price tomorrow night? I play him tomorrow night. Honestly, can we play Carey Price at forward, like, to score more goals? Can we play Carey Price at defense, because he probably has better puck moving skills than Shea Weber and Ben Sherratt and Joel Edmondson? I mean, Joel Edmondson, to his credit, played probably the best out of the 3 of them, but Weber and Sherratt together again, I don't really agree with that, because I didn't honestly have too much of an issue with how the defense was playing through the first 2 games. I would have kept Merrill with Weber, Kulak with Sherratt, and Edmondson obviously stays with Petrie. But yeah, the Habs they played the second period like they were killing a penalty the entire time. And yes, Randy, and Price was lights out. Romanov in next Game 2. I don't know about Romanov, to be honest. Like, to me, it's just more about, if the D-men weren't broke through the first 2 games, why fix them? Merrill with Weber, Kulak, Sherratt, Edmondson, Petrie. And yeah, Habs need to find offensive cohesiveness. I'll get to the what is it? 1 goal tonight, 1 goal in Game 2, 2 goals in Game 1, 1 even strength goal in each of the 3 playoff games in the series thus far. And by the way, Jack Campbell made some really big saves down the stretch, but by no means, you saw the goal that Suzuki gave up, that Suzuki scored on him. You saw the goal that Suzuki scored on Jack Campbell. Like, he's a good goaltender. Look at how he played in the season. He had a very statistically great season, but you've seen his confidence be shaky. You've seen him play inconsistently or just look kind of vulnerable, and he made some big saves down the stretch. But why couldn't the Habs play like they did in the third the entire game, or even half as good as they did in the third? Because I know, yes, there are ebbs and flows to a hockey game, and like I've been saying this entire season, the Habs this year have not been able to make teams pay for when the Habs were had the upper hand, or when the Habs were pressing. But when the Habs get pressured and stuck in their own zone and all that, they just give up goals, give up chances, and Carey Price can't stop everything. He could stop a lot of pucks like he did tonight. And even though statistically it's an under 900 save percentage, because those 29 shots the Leafs had on Price, and that's a sub 900 save percentage, but come on. Price won you this, or Price gave you a chance to win this hockey game. And the Habs just needed to, they to their credit, they turned it on in the third period, but they needed to be even better than they were in the third period because of how bad they were in the second yet again. And because on the power play, I haven't even mentioned the power play yet. through 3 power plays the Habs had, they got no shots. No shots. 1 goalpost from Cole Caulfield, the guy that was sitting in the stands for the first 2 games. And you wonder why you only had 3 goals through the first 2 games when Cole Caulfield is sitting in the stands. Okay, sure, the plan was to let him see the game, the way, how fast it is before getting in. But then first shift, rings it off the crossbar. The entire third period, scoring chance after scoring chance after scoring chance after scoring chance because of Cole Caulfield. And then late in the game, made a bit of a rookie mistake, puck on a stick, but he's in the right place at the right time. And Justin Hall made the great play to dive in front of it and take that chance away from Cole Caulfield. But Cole Caulfield, it's almost like when you put one of your 2 best offensive players in the lineup, you're going to have a greater chance of scoring more goals. And Cole Caulfield played a lot in the third period, and the Habs got a lot of scoring chances because of a lot of which were created by Cole Caulfield. I'm going to pause my rant here for a second, get to your comments. Habs need to find offensive cohesiveness, Randy. Like I said, Sheldon plays Carey Price tomorrow night, but if the offense is anemic, the whole team needs to accelerate force training from all the past Jedi. Yes. I agree. Matt Cowan, playing with energy and taking chances is so much better than whatever trap game they were busy playing the second. I mean, if it wasn't really a trap game, because if whatever it was, it just didn't work, because the whole idea, if it was a trap game, like the whole point is to trap the other team. But when the other team outshoots you 20-8, you ain't trapping them very well. So yeah, hitting well, Randy hitting well. Faceoffs killed us on both goals. But the Habs, you know what? Habs weren't as bad in the faceoff circle tonight. The Habs weren't as bad in the faceoff circle tonight. They were, where was it? It was 30-30, a dead split, which is good, very good considering how bad they were in game 2. But what is not good, and I'm going to pull this out in a sec just because I have to change the apps that I'm looking at the score box here. What was not good is Phillip Danault. Phillip Danault, who's a guy that you're relied upon as your number 1 shutdown Selke nomination-worthy centerman, right? Phillip Danault, who is supposed to be good at faceoffs and a perennial 53-54% guy in the faceoff circle. Last game, he was like 6 for 22. Tonight, what was Phillip Danault tonight? Let's see. Phillip Danault pulling this out. Pardon the hold up here slightly. Yeah, pulling this out here. Phillip Danault in the faceoff circle was 10 for 24. Phillip Danault, your number one shutdown Selke nominee centerman that you're putting out for tough matchups, that you're expected to win faceoffs 53% of the time, was 10 for 24 tonight. 10 for 24. So, and then the goal that William Nylander scored was right off a Danault faceoff that he lost cleanly, and William Nylander picked it right up, put it through traffic. Carey Price at that point, look, and was that like that was a shot from the outside that got through traffic, and maybe Carey Price can stop it, but who cares? Because Carey Price made 6 saves that he had no business stopping, and you only scored 1 goal for him. 1 goal. So, and then the other goal was also off the faceoff. I mean, Kotkaniemi, who was actually pretty good in the faceoff circle, and I did like Kotkaniemi with with Toffoli and Anderson. I like that line in the first period, and in the third period they were good. Although Toffoli needs to pick up the slack with, and catch up with Kotkaniemi and Josh Anderson. Kotkaniemi, by the way, who was in the faceoff circle 7 for 11 tonight. Kotkaniemi on faceoff. So, as a guy who was struggling last year in the bubble in the faceoff circle, that's damn good for Kotkaniemi. He's been a really good faceoff guy this year for a 20-year-old centerman, especially compared to how bad he was as a rookie or as a young centerman. He's been picking it up towards the end of the season, and he has been good in the faceoff circle through 2 games this series. I'll get back to your comments here right now. What was the one I read last? Play with energy. Trap game. That was the Matt Cowan one. Faceoffs killed us. So Randy, another thing with the hits. So the hit strategy worked in the first period, but right now the Habs out-hit the Leafs again tonight, I believe, by a margin of 37-28. But you know what? Who cares? Because at a certain point, you got to start scoring some darn goals. Like you could out-hit the Leafs 55-23, 44-30, 37-28, 60-10. But if you're only scoring 1.5 goals per game, 1 goal or 1 even strength goal per game, you ain't going to win many hockey games. So what can I say? Going to Roger. Video is breaking up. I don't think it might be your internet there, Roger. I don't know. If you leave a comment, just confirm whether my internet is good or not. I think it's okay. I'm plugged in with the wired connection. But anyway, Caulfield and Suzuki together and add Anderson for effect. Honestly, Suzuki and Caulfield are really good together. Suzuki, I feel like, was a bit slow in the first period, but then that goal kind of gave him some life. The goal he scored there. Just on the rush, put the puck on net. And Jack Campbell didn't stop it because, like I said, Jack Campbell will gift you a goal like that every now and then. He played, again, really well in the third period, but for the first 40 minutes of that hockey game, the Habs just didn't challenge him at all. The Habs barely challenged Jack Campbell. He had 8 shots in the second period and 6 shots in the first period. So at least that trap game the Habs were playing was working a little bit better in the first period. But Campbell's vulnerable. Randy, like you said there, Suzuki was a great shot, but other goalies should have that. Like I said, yep. Campbell will give you that every now and then. Langer, Randy again. Don't think the Habs need to go a different direction with the new coach, new offensive mind. I mean, honestly, it's starting to get to the point with the way that Bergevin and Ducharme, with the way that coach's challenge was handled in game 2, I'm really starting to believe that Bergevin really has his hand on what Ducharme is doing and what any coach back there is doing. And if that's the case, I've been a guy advocating to keep Bergevin, but if Bergevin is the guy calling the shots during the game and doing the head coach's job, well, guess what? Bergevin's got to go too. So if these are all Ducharme's decisions, which they kind of worked through game 1, but game 2 and game 3, something's got to give here. But I wouldn't put it this way. I'm still maintaining the fact that I would not want to lose Dominic Ducharme if it means that Joel Bouchard I would not want to keep Dominic Ducharme if it means that Joel Bouchard is coaching elsewhere in the NHL next year. Absolutely. I maintain that. Jay Wilson, Ducharme holds this offensive-minded team back all the game, every game, but look what happens when they're forced to think offensively first. And look, that's you can't expect the Habs to play they did in the third period the entire game. I know I said that. That was a bit of reactionary, but still, even half as good as they played in the third period, in the first period, in the second period, instead of playing with 6 goalies on the ice in the second period and expecting to win the hockey game, right? Forced to think of it. Ducharme needs to learn to coach to his team's strengths. I mean, that's pretty much the way been the issue all the year with the way he uses his players. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the message. That, defense first and, don't give up too much defensively and don't freewheel offensively too much because you'll get caught, which is true. But you also have to attack to score goals and not defend all the time and wait till you're down 1 before you start attacking, Icing caused a Nylander goal. Yeah, like I said, it was icing, sure, but also on that face-off, that was just a terribly executed face-off by your supposedly best face-off guy in Philip Deneau. So, yeah. Is Coach Manny Malhotra coaching the Leafs, probably teaching them faceoffs? I mean, yeah, but Philip Deneau has not been that bad on faceoffs these past couple of years. He's not 6 for 22 or whatever I said before, bad on for 10 for 24 bad on faceoffs. That's awful. So, yeah, so credit the Leafs for winning them, but also the Habs. When Deneau is getting clocked or just completely just demolished in the faceoff circle, then Deneau has to be better too. And Malhotra was a guy in his career known for his faceoffs, like he was with the Montreal Canadiens. Losing 2-1 this game, Randy, losing 2-1 this game is more frustrating than losing 5-1 the other night, so tight that the Habs could have won this one. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You can say that the Habs at least had a lead in game 2 that they pretty much just let get away from them. But in this game, they're kind of just letting the Leafs dictate the game. And when the Habs finally realized, oh crap, we have to start scoring goals now, that's when they started to attack. And yeah, Randy, Price's save on Spezza was indeed very jaw-dropping. Very similar to the one that he stopped on, where he saved Suzuki's life last year, where I think it was Voracek or whoever on the Flyers had a wide open net. Price extended his stick out there and it deflected up into the glass or out of play. That was very similar to that. And even in slow motion, it almost looked like Price was actually trying to turn his paddle open to be able to get his full paddle in front of the puck and not just like the thin part of his stick. So all the more reason what that was a jaw-dropping save by Carey Price among many tonight. Gonna hit more when they have the puck. I mean, yeah, but again, it's just also score goals, you know? Randy, explain why the Habs cannot score. Well, I'll get to that in a little bit, Randy. Do you see a difference between Ducharme and Julien's coaching style? No difference to me, and I agree with you. Not too much of a difference between Ducharme and Julien, although I will say Ducharme, I saw a little bit difference early on, but not so much lately. I saw the Habs kind of skating harder, maybe just because they were playing for a new coach. There were some subtle differences early on, but lately, and in terms of the big picture of Ducharme's style versus Julien's style, not so much. Not so much. I'd have to give that a little bit more thought, though, Randy, to be completely honest with you. But either way, like I said, between the three of them, between Claude Julien, Dominique Ducharme, and Joel Bouchard, I'd most prefer Joel Bouchard to be coaching the Montreal Canadiens than any of those three right now. Sheldon, I see a difference. More mini 2-on-1s with Ducharme, which is what he wanted right after Julien was dismissed. And yeah, you know what? Here's something I'm going to get into: a 6-on-5 and down low play, at least at 6-on-5. That is something a little bit more with Ducharme than Julien, but I have to go back and give it a little more thought. Randy, again, feel like the Habs let other teams dictate the game a lot this season. And yeah, they have. And when the Habs dictated the game, they didn't score enough goals to win games or win enough games this season, or it feels like they could have won a lot more. And Bouchard is exactly what we need. I feel like Bouchard, not only tactically, but also just because he knows how to push the right buttons with his players to get the most out of them. Anderson, Toffoli, Caulfield scores well only when they got a playmaker for them. And yeah, like, look, Kotkaniemi was like, hello. Like, Kotkaniemi had another pretty strong game tonight after last night, like I said, in the faceoff circle, but also in terms of creating plays and maneuvering through traffic, even playing well defensively. I like Kotkaniemi's game tonight, although he did get caught. I mean, everyone kind of got caught in the second period, but I feel like that was also a lot on the D-men who just got stuck on the ice and just couldn't clear the puck out. I do want to say this, though. Okay, I still haven't gotten into the power play yet, because the power play fired another blank tonight, 3 blanks tonight, and after... excuse me. So with the power play, here's my theory, or here's why the power play is even worse than it should be. Because they always seem intent, and obviously Galchenyuk high stick Gallagher in the face right off the bat, and that gave the Habs the 4-minute power play early on, which they could have very well. You talk about attacking, you talk about, Randy, why the Habs can't score goals. Well, because they also can't score on the power play, and here's why. Because as I mentioned in my post-game show yesterday, or on after game 2, you have Weber, Toffoli, Anderson, Suzuki, and Tatar tonight, or in other cases, Suzuki. Yeah, I guess back in the day, Drew. But anyway, you have too much of a combination of guys that are skilled but can't skate, or have good shots but can't skate, and guys that can skate but have no skill. Josh Anderson. And the guys that can't really skate as much but have good shots or decent skill or can't handle the puck as well. Weber, Toffoli, and Stahl when Stahl is healthy, or Tatar in this case. That's what I was missing. But for some reason, the coaching staff, Burrows and Ducharme, seem intent on playing the inferior unit, the Suzuki unit, over the Kotkaniemi, Petrie, Perry, Gallagher, Tatar, or in this case, Caulfield unit, which has more skill, more puck handling ability, better skating. And so what happens is, I said, yeah, Stahl was hurt. I'm just saying Stahl when he's healthy. So you realize that at least on the second power play that the Habs had, they started that Kotkaniemi unit, and they got set up right away because Kotkaniemi won the faceoff, and Suzuki, not always the best faceoff guy. So if you're going to put Suzuki out there for the first faceoff, again, you have a not great blend of guys that can skate but have no skill, and guys that have skill and shots but can't skate, and a guy taking the faceoff who's not good at winning the faceoffs. Well, naturally, they're going to be going back chasing the puck all the time because they'll lose the faceoff. The other team will clear it, and they'll have to go retrieve it and try to reset and set up and all that, which they can't do because, like I said, bad combination of guys with skill but no skating, and skating but no skill. But then when you have the Kotkaniemi line, if you start the Kotkaniemi line out there, at least Kotkaniemi can win the faceoff. And then you have guys that can skate, handle the puck, and even Caulfield who can shoot, who hit the crossbar like I said in his very first shift, right? So at least you're able to get set up. But it took the 4-minute farce of a power play for the coaching staff to realize that before they came back and made the change on the second power play, which got set up, but Kotkaniemi didn't make the best pass, and that's what kind of got them to, get cleared out, or that caused them to have to reset. And yeah, the second power play that they had was basically a wash from that point forward. Get back to your comments here a little bit. Anderson to Foley, like I said, I got that one already with Randy. Totally agree about Bouchard just by watching the Rocket games this year. Yeah, like they play, honestly, it's just the way getting the most out of his players, pushing the right buttons to get the best out of his players. Zayan Alam, do you think the Habs were playing too much on the outside when playing in the offensive zone, the third? Not too much. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Campbell, kind of credit to him for playing well. But also what I will say though, Zayan, is that the Habs passed on too many shots. So many times this Canadiens team, including Caulfield at the end there, who I said has a shot first mentality. But here's the thing, buddy. Here's the thing, Caulfield. Here's the thing, even Weber, Edmondson, everyone that does this on the Canadiens, you got to shoot quickly. You can't, like Weber does this so often where he catches the puck, waits, and then loads it up. That's too long. Petrie, when he was playing at his best, Petrie would do this fantastically. He would either put it on net quickly and it would find its way through and either score or get a bad rebound to a scoring chance or whatever. Things would happen. Or he would wait and find like the perfect shooting angle to quickly put on net to get it through. But the point is he'd get it through. Whereas Weber, too often, he catches it, or same thing with Sherratt, same thing with everyone except really Petrie from the back end. They get the puck from the point, they wait, they wind up, and then they fire it on net. But it's too late by then because everyone is in position to defend that shot. On the defensive side, the goaltender and the 5 guys on the ice, or 4 guys, if it's a power play, they get in position to defend that shot. So you got to put that puck on net before they're ready, or if they are in good position, you have to have enough skill to create the shooting lane for yourself and get that puck through to the net. So that's why when you're talking about playing from the outside or passing up on shots, that was the biggest issue for the Canadiens, especially before the end, like the final scramble there in the third. But I will say though, here's another thing. Going back to the power play, the Habs are honestly better at 6-on-5 than on the power play. Literally, like you saw, they got more chances 6-on-5 than 5-on-4 with less space on the ice. But I will say this, the Habs, part of their issue on the power play is that they're also not the greatest at retrieving pucks out of the corner. But when you have 6 guys on the ice, you have that extra guy to retrieve pucks for you. So that's my theory as to at least why the Habs are much better 6-on-5 than they are 5-on-4. At least my theory. Especially when you have guys that don't skate as well. Like I said, with Weber, who's out there, who kind of had to be because they didn't get many whistles, and guys like Perry, you have to, like, those extra bodies on the outside when you're 6-on-5, they help the Canadiens. But 5-on-4, like, when they struggle to retrieve pucks in the corners, well, that's kind of why. Where was I at here? Great at developing young talent. That's going back to Joel Bouchard comments there. Sorry, I forgot to scroll up here. Great guys. Yeah. And okay, plays their heart out for Bouchard. Yeah, like going back to Joel Bouchard, why he succeeded with the Rocket. Do you agree with Stahl out of the lineup? Stahl was injured, but Stahl needs to be in the lineup, especially if Lekkonen's going to be out. Stahl was hurt, like I said, with Jay Wilson confirming that. On the PP, only Perry is screening well in front. Gallagher's in front, but doesn't screen well. Gallagher's a guy who is more of a pick up the garbage type of guy. So Perry's the one screening. Gallagher has to be the one retrieving pucks and like loose pucks and putting them on net. But again, they just never got set up on the power play, mostly because they started with their inferior unit, at least on the 4-minute power play. Then on the second one, they finally started with their better unit. Hockey sub at Randy N from Habs. Absolutely. Randy N at j.wilson. Thanks for the info. Sup, Liam Langer has great comments. Appreciate the love there, Randy, as usual. Just trying to get through all your comments here. Jay Wilson, no problem. Not 100% sure, but thought it was the case. Randy saw Ducharme's coaching first few games, but not much during the last 20 games or so. Kind of like what we already talked about. At Randy N, I was live tonight. Yeah, Habs Absolutely Hockey. I think they're a podcast as well. Check them out on Twitter. Just confirm that Habs Absolutely Hockey. That you are guys are a podcast. Give them a follow if they are. Definitely. Caleb Charamo, if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. Just popped in. Gallagher needs to be way better. You know what? I will say this though. Gallagher was better tonight. Gallagher had a terrible game too, especially by his standards. At least tonight we saw a little bit more of the Brand Gallagher that we're used to seeing. Brand Gallagher tonight had what was that? 2 shots on net, 13 minutes of ice time only, -1. But he did get that really nice shot on Campbell late or midway through the third period. I feel like he was a little bit better tonight than in game 2, but that's also more because he was really bad in game 2. What's it called? Weber didn't look right tonight, still recovering. I think Weber that's from Sheldon Weisberg, by the way. I think Weber just honestly is just tired. And also I think that he should be with Merrill, not Sherratt. So that's my take on that. J. Wilson, Weber, just a giveaway machine on the blue line. Wouldn't say it's so much that he's a giveaway machine. You just can't skate. And, especially when he's out there for a long time, he's just not the guy that can make that breakout pass. When you talk about the need for a puck-moving defenseman, Weber isn't a puck-moving defenseman. And he has to adjust his game to be able to get in better position to break up plays and not have to get stuck in his zone for so long and stay at home forever. But anyway, Randy, Habs don't do enough one-timers on passes that they get. It's not so much that they don't do enough one-timers, it's just that they don't release the puck quick enough, which I already kind of mentioned there. J. Wilson always bobbling the puck or shooting in the shin pads, pretty much. Yeah, like we talked about, because they wait too long. Price playoff mentality is so great, Randy. And yeah, like Price has been their star in these playoffs by far. Habs Absolutely Hockey, go Habs, go. Randy and Toronto plays great on the PK because they attack the guy at the puck, forcing them to pass right away and giving away the puck. So here's the thing. That's a great point there, Randy. I noticed this in the first period, as that's another thing when the Habs, they try to enter the zone. And I mentioned this on my Twitter intermission show at Mike Langer on Twitter. As usual, check me out at Mike Langer on Twitter. So the Leafs, they put 3, like on one occasion with Petrie and another occasion with Kotkaniemi, the Leafs put 3 guys on Kotkaniemi and Petrie as they entered the zone. And there wasn't a Hab as a supporting option within 30 feet of Petrie or Kotkaniemi. So, that's where, again, if they're going to converge on the puck carrier entering the zone on the power play, we'll just support the puck carrier and give them an outlet option and set up like that. So that's a good point there, Randy, like I said. And I want to thank you for reminding me to mention that. Drop it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Gallagher, third liner. I mean, look, he's played 13 minutes tonight, and, he has to pick up his play if he wants to get more minutes. Wouldn't mind Gallagher running in close into Campbell to send a message. I mean, look, the answer isn't to start running goaltenders, but definitely be aggressive and definitely, start making Campbell feel more uncomfortable back there. Gallagher's ice time tells me he's still hurt. I would say Gallagher's ice time is more just he's not in full game shape yet, or full Gallagher game shape yet, at least. You should get Discord, Randy. Randy, Habs play way too much on the boards, and they don't do it well. I mean, look, also part of it is through the first 2 periods when you're having to defend the Leafs the entire second period, like that's where you don't have the energy to create quality offense because you're killing essentially an even strength power play the entire period. So, and you're just surviving. So, yeah, so that's at least why the Habs weren't good in the second, but they let them, they were on the heels from the get-go, and they just let the Leafs dictate the period. And as a result, the Habs got more and more tired that period, and they just got stuck having to survive and just, play hang on hockey, as my dad likes to call it. So, but in the third period, when the Habs actually started realizing, crap, we need to score a goal now, we need to start attacking, they're much better. Hopefully, now that they're down 2 on the series, though, it will make them have more of an attacking mindset. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to go over. And thank you, as usual, guys, for your comments and your engagement. Just makes this so much more fun and exciting. And also, you never know what anyone's going through. You never know what someone is dealing with. So be sure to, not bully, not attack people on the internet, and be aware that, you never know what someone's going through. So just, wish them all the best. Habs have a lot more big hips, Caleb says, than the Leafs. I mean, look, again, the goals matter more than the hits at this point. Honestly, the goals matter more than the hits at this point. Now down 2 on the series. Now going the second of a back-to-back. got to start scoring goals now. But thanks, Jay Wilson, for the good show. Love right there. And yeah, going to wrap it up here. That's all we have here. As usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment in the comment section on your thoughts, whether you are concerned or still optimistic or frustrated or happy or don't care. I don't care. Leave a comment in the comment section. I appreciate the engagement as always. Give me a big thumbs up. Give me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike Langer for all three. And thank you so much for tuning into this Habs Post Game Show here on Langer at the Mic Live. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.